An opinion page editor and columnist at the New York Post, Barry Weiss, has issued a public resignation letter that's lifted the lid on the cancel culture at the New York Times. She's criticised its illiberal environment and claimed that she was subject to constant bullying by colleagues who disagreed with her views. Claire, how worried are you about powerful institutions like the New York Times when free discussion and speech is shut down in even a media organisation?
Look, you're entirely right, Sharri. It is very troubling to see what's happened at the New York Times and more broadly in terms of this cancel culture that seems to have taken a grip in our society. I mean, you only have to look at what happened to J.K. Rowling last month when she spoke out and made a very common sense view that biological women are women and biological men are men, and that there are certain sensible legal protections around those notions. But this cancel culture just seems to be taking over to the point that people feel that they can't express their own personal views anymore for fear of legal retribution. And I think that is incredibly troubling. I've always been a great advocate of free speech, and obviously part of being able to speak freely is also others having the freedom to criticise your ideas. That's part of what open and rigorous debate is all about. But what we're seeing in a lot of these institutions now, whether it's the media, whether it's corporate Australia, whether it's your bureaucracy, is this whole notion that people can be deplatformed just for saying things that most everyday people would agree with. It's absolutely troubling.
Claire, have you ever felt this pressure as a parliamentarian not to express your views on certain topics?
Certainly not, Sharri. I'm in the very fortunate position where I have a platform available to me to speak my views on issues like this, and I agree with J.K. Rowling's view on women, certainly, and that has been one issue that I have been quite vocal on, talking about the issue of women's sport and it being for women. But I have, after speaking out about this issue, been approached by many women, both in Australia and overseas, who have said that they absolutely agree with my view, but they feel that they can't vocalise their own their agreement with my view or their own ideas about this issue for fear of retribution, which I just think is really, really upsetting, that women feel that they can't publicly say that women are women and that, you know, there should be relevant protections and rights that come attached with that. It's very upsetting.
Matt, are women women and men men?
Well, I think that we all should have equal rights in Australia, and in past decades we've put in place measures to ensure that men and women have equal rights in Australian society, and that's what's important. There are areas within the way our economy works.
But do you think there is a biological difference? There are women and there are men, or do you think there are many different genders?
Well, I think what we need to do is make sure that we have laws that are appropriate, that respect the differences and respect people's sensibilities about those issues.